Welcome to this tutorial for Tandem Canada. Today we will explore how to create a new activity on the platform. First, on the dashboard, let us explore where we can create a new activity. Here we are in the account of Michelle Priego, an ESL teacher. She could create an activity in her own class box as well as the Tandem shared box, but not in the box of her partner teacher, Linda Smith. Indeed, she could consult activities in that box, but she could not create any activities in that box. If she decides to create an activity in her own box, that means that her students would have access to the activity, but not Linda Smith's students. As such, if she wants to create a Tandem activity, she needs to do so in the Tandem French 201 2.3 box, and that's what we will do for this tutorial. Now that we are in the Tandem page, the first step to create a new activity will be to turn editing on clicking on the Turn Editing On button. Please note that if you wish to turn it off, you simply need to click on the button again. Following this step, you need to identify the plus at the bottom of the page. Indeed, this will help you add an activity or resource to the page. As you can see, a new pop-up window will open, giving you access to different types of activities. You will need to select the one you wish to create. The most common activities for Tandem learning are big blue button activities, which are video conferencing activities, chat, forum, and wiki activities. For this tutorial, we will choose the big blue button activity. Once it's selected, click on Add. Then, a list of options will be offered, most of which must be selected for the activity to run properly. We will go over them one by one, pointing out which ones must be selected. First, you need to choose your instance type. If you wish to record the big blue button activity session, you need to choose Room Activity with Recordings. Then, let's move on to General Settings. First, you need to set a name for the activity. For example, Week 3 Animals. Please note that this name will also be the name shown on the dashboard. Next, if you wish to send a notification to your students that the activity has been created, click on this box. It is then very important to click on Show More, as this will let you write a description for your activity. For example, here we're going to write Share with your partner. Please note that this description will also be under the name in the dashboard. Finally, you need to click on Display Description on course page for your students to have access to it. Next, let us look at the activity or room settings. As you can see, you can write a welcome message. This message will be shown in the chat box in the big blue button session. For example, you could write, "Hello, don't forget to share." Then, you have access to the Wait for Moderator box. It is not recommended that you click on this box, as students will have to wait for the teacher before they can share. Then, the recording settings can be ignored. However, for participants, it is important that all users enrolled is selected, and that all users enrolled are viewed as moderators and not viewers. This way, your students will be able to access and interact with the big blue button session. Following the participants options, you have access to the schedule for your session. You can decide to create dates for opening and closing your activity. Make sure you click on Enable to actually apply the dates to your activity. If you decide not to click on Enable for both open and close dates, then the activity will be available at all times. Next, common module settings must be considered. Next to availability, Show on course page must be selected, and next to group mode, separate groups must be selected. This way, students will be able to share in separate groups in different sessions. Otherwise, all your students will be regrouped in the same session, which is not optimal for tandem learning. Finally, all 4 tabs, restrict access, activity completion, tags, and competencies can be ignored. You must finally save and either return to the course or display. If you return to course, you will go back to the class box we saw at the beginning. If you decide to display, you will display the activity page in the course box. For this tutorial, we will choose Save and Return to Course. This may take a few minutes. Now that we are back to the course box, we can see that our new activity has been added to the list of activities. It is then important to turn editing off, and then all the students, as well as the other class, can have access to the activity. If you wish to start the activity, you need to click on Week 3 Animals, which is next to the big blue button symbol, and then Join Session. If you wish to know more about how to use the big blue button video conferencing tool, please watch the big blue button tutorial for Tandem Canada.